Then Almitra spoke again and said, "And what of marriage, master?" And he answered, saying, "You were born together, and together you shall be for evermore. You shall be together when the white wings of death scatter your days. Aye, you shall be together even in the silent memory of God. But let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of the heavens dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another of your bread, but eat not from the same loaf. Sing and dance together, and be joyful, but let each one of you be alone. Even as the strings of a lute are alone, though they quiver with the same music. Give your hearts, but not into each other's keeping, for only the hand of life can contain your hearts. And stand together, yet not too near together, for the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow." There's the wonderful love of a beautiful maid, and the love of a staunch, true man, and the love of a baby that's unafraid. These exist since time began. But the acme of love, the love of loves, even greater than that of a mother, is the tender, infinite, passionate love of one dead drunk for another. In summer's heat and mid-time of the day, to rest my limbs upon a bed I lay. One window shut, the other open stood, which gave such light as twinkles in a wood, like twilight glimpse at setting of the sun, or night being past, and day not yet begun. Such light to shamefaced maidens must be shown, where they may sport and seem to be unknown. Then came Corinna, in her long, loose gown, her white neck hid with tresses hanging down, resembling fair Semiramis going to bed, or Lais of 1,000 wooers sped. I snatched her gown, being thin the harm was small, yet strived she to be covered therewithal, and striving thus as one that would be cast, betrayed herself and yielded at the last. Stark naked as she stood before mine eye, no blemish in her body could I spy. What arms and shoulders did I touch and see, how apt her breasts were to be pressed by me, how smooth a belly under her waist saw I, how large a leg, and what a lusty thigh. To leave the rest, all liked me passing well. I clinged her naked body, down we fell. Judge you the rest. Being tired, she bade me kiss. Jove, send me more such afternoons as this. There were 3 ravens sat on a tree. They were as black as they might be. The one of them said to his make, "Where shall we our breakfast take? Down in yonder greener field there lies a knight slain under his shield. His hounds they lie down at his feet, so well they can their master keep. His hawks they fly so eagerly, there's no fowl dare come him nigh. Down there comes a fallow doe, as great with young as she might go. She lift up his bloody head, and kissed his wounds that were so red. She gat him up upon her back, and carried him to earthen lake. She buried him before the prime. She was dead herself ere evensong time. God, send every gentleman such hounds, such hawks, and such a leman. When my love swears that she is made of truth, I do believe her, though I know she lies, that she might think me some untutored youth, unlearned in the world's vast subtleties, thus vainly thinking that she thinks me young, although she knows my days are past the best. Simply I credit her false-speaking tongue. On both sides thus is simple truth suppressed. But wherefore says she not, she is unjust? And wherefore say not I, that I am old? Oh, love's best habit is in seeming trust, and age in love loves not to have years told. Therefore I lie with her, and she with me, and in our faults by lies we flattered be.
Dancing is for the most part attended with many amorous smiles, wanton compliments, unchaste kisses, scurrilous songs and sonnets, effeminate music, lust-provoking attire, ridiculous love pranks, all of which savour only of sensuality, of raging fleshly lusts. Oh, dear. Therefore it is to be wholly abandoned of all good Christians. Dancing serves no necessary use, no profitable, laudable, or pious end at all. It issues only from the inbred pravity, vanity, wantonness, incontinency, pride, profaneness, or madness of men's depraved natures. Therefore it must needs be unlawful unto Christians. The way to heaven is too steep, too narrow for men to dance in. No way is large enough or smooth enough for capering roisters, for jumping, skipping, dancing dames, but that broad-beaten, pleasant road that leads to hell.
Love that is dead and buried, yesterday out of his grave rose up before my face. No recognition in his look, no trace of memory in his eyes, dust dimmed and grey, while I, remembering, found no word to say, but felt my quickened heart leap in its place, caught afterglow, thrown back from long set days, caught echoes of all music passed away. Was this indeed to meet? I mind me yet, in youth we met, when hope and love were quick. We parted with hope dead, but love alive. I mind me how we parted then, heart-sick, remembering, loving, hopeless, weak to strive. Was this to meet? Not so. We have not met.
Come, come, said Tom's father. At your time of life, there's no longer excuse for thus playing the rake. It's time you should think, boy, of taking a wife.
Why, so it is, father. Whose wife shall I take?
She was poor, but she was honest. Victim of the squire's whim. First, he loved her, then he left her, and she lost her honest name. Then she ran away to London for to hide her grief and shame. There she met another squire, and she lost her name again. See her riding in her carriage in the park and all so gay. All the nibs and nobby persons come to pass the time of day. See the little old world village where her aged parents live, drinking the champagne she sends 'em, but they never can forgive. In the rich man's arms she flutters like a bird with broken wing. First he loved her, then he left her, and she hasn't got a ring. See him in his splendid mansions, entertaining with the best, while the girl that he has ruined entertains a sordid guest. See him in the House of Commons, a-making laws to put down crime, while the victim of his passions trails her way through mud and slime. Standing on the bridge at midnight, she says, "Farewell, blighted love." There's a scream, a splash. Good heavens, what is she a-doing of? Then they drag her from the river. Water from her clothes they wrang, for they thought that she was drowned. But the corpse got up and sang, "It's the same the whole world over. It's the poor what gets the blame. It's the rich what gets the pleasure. Ain't it all a bloomin' shame?"
As Chloe came into the room t'other day, I peevish began, "Where so long could you stay? In your lifetime you never regarded your hour. You promised it 2, and pray look, child, 'tis 4. A lady's watch needs not figures nor wheels. 'Tis enough that 'tis loaded with baubles and seals. A temper so heedless no mortal can bear." Thus far I went on with a resolute air. "Lord bless me," said she, "let a body but speak. Here's an ugly hard rosebud fallen into my neck. It has hurt me and vexed me to such a degree. See here, for you never believe me, pray see, on the left side my breast, what a mark it has made." So saying, her bosom she careless displayed. That seat of delight I with wonder surveyed, and forgot every word I designed to have said. Earth has not anything to show more fair. Dull would he be of soul who could pass by a sight so touching in its majesty. This city now doth like a garment wear the beauty of the morning, silent, bare. Ships, towers, domes, theatres, and temples lie open to the fields and to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. Never did sun more beautifully steep in his first splendor valley, rock, or hill. Ne'er saw I, never felt a calm so deep. The river glideth at his own sweet will. Dear God, the very houses seem asleep, and all that mighty heart is lying still. Young blondes are tempting me by day and night. Young blondes in dreams trouble my restless sight. With curly heads they rampage through my thoughts, full-bosomed in their sweaters and their shorts, or lie sunbathing on an impossible beach, naked, aloof, continually out of reach. On the mind's promenade above the rocks, young blondes go sauntering by in cotton frocks, or flatter cameras with their negligent poses, or drenched in moonlight gather midnight roses, while I am eating, smoking, working, talking, through long romantic gardens they are walking. Protect me, Lord, from these desires of flesh. Keep me from evil in thy pastures fresh, so that I may not fall by lakes or ponds into such sinful thoughts about young blondes. Books, ladies, I must confess I'm not altogether so fond of. For to mind the inside of a book is to entertain oneself with the forced product of another man's brain. Now, I think man of quality and breeding may be much better diverted with the natural sprouts of his own. But to say the truth, ladies, let a man love reading never so well, when once he comes to know this town, he finds so many better ways of passing the 24 hours. 'Twere 10,000 pities he should consume his time in that. For example, ladies, my life, ladies, is a perpetual stream of pleasure that glides through such a variety of entertainments. I believe the wisest of our ancestors never had the least conception of them. I rise, ladies, at about 10 o'clock. I don't rise sooner, for it is the worst thing in the world for the complexion. Not that I pretend to be a beau, but a man must endeavour to look wholesome, lest he make so nauseous a figure in the side-box, the audience be compelled to turn their eyes upon the play. So, at 10 o'clock, I say, I rise. Now, if I find 'tis a good day, I resolve to take a turn in the park and see the fine women. So, huddle on me clothes and get dressed by 1. If it be nasty weather, I take a turn in the chocolate house, where as you walk, ladies, you have the prettiest prospect in the world. You have looking-glasses all round you. Then, ladies, from thence I go to dinner at Luckett's, where you are so nicely and delicately served that, stap me vitals, they shall compose you a dish no bigger than a saucer shall come to 50 shillings. Between eating me dinner and washing me mouth, ladies, I spend me time till I go to the play, where till 9 o'clock I entertain myself with looking upon the company, and usually dispose of 1 hour more in leading 'em out. So there's 12 of the 24 pretty well over. The other 12, ladies, are disposed of in 2 articles. In the first 4, I toast myself drunk, and in t'other 8, I sleep myself sober again. Thus, ladies, you see, my life is an eternal round, of delights. Little lost people of my valley, whose loves and laughs lie buried inside the mountain's arms, let your cries for life fade, whilst you listen to the sounds your mothers make. 1,000 crashing seas could not cover the weepings of the mother. Cry in your tunnels of darkness. Cry, little hearts, for the loving you have missed. Cry for my babies that death has kissed. It is not pretty there. The brown of the ground covers the sound in each little mound. The silent weeping, the ugliness of what is left, of each mother bereft of what she owned for so little time. And now, no time. Memories are not always kind for those who are left behind. What didn't you do? What kind word went unsaid? What stupid action led to this and that and no sorry with which to say goodbye? Do not comfort them. Let them cry their fill, and fill again to cry more, for what they lost is all the world. Do not shrug off the world with words, for the hurts are deep, and only sleep comforts. The prayer, not to waken, but to stay there asleep with those who were taken so unkindly.
kindly. Tear out of their bodies the stifled pain. Let the raw emotion stand untamed, for each of us is animal. We have lost our young. The child is dead. The room's the same. But the name has gone. That was on each mother's tongue. The name has gone from the day now. Gone to memory. The toy is on defiant show. The telltale toy of long ago. They are my people in my land. Stand back, all others, and let be. You do not know that coal. You only see your fire, the warm and the red. Look into it again and see the blood it shed. Among our young lasses there's Muirland Meg. She'll beg for she'll work, and she'll play for she'll beg. At 13 her maidenhead flew on its way, and the door of her cage stands open today. And for a sheep's foot she'll do it, she'll do it. For a sheep's foot she'll do it, she'll do it. For a ram's horn she'll do it till morn, and merrily turn to and do it and do it. Her rolling black eyes would thrill you through. Her rosebud lips cry, kiss me, come do. The curls and the links of her bonny black hair would put you in mind there's more hiding elsewhere. And for a sheep's foot she'll do it, she'll do it. For a sheep's foot she'll do it, she'll do it. For a ram's horn she'll do it till morn, and merrily turn to and do it and do it. An armful of love is her bosom sae tender, a span of delight is her middle sae slender, a pretty white leg and a thumping white thigh, and a fiddle nearby it to play by and by. And for a sheep's foot she'll do it, she'll do it. For a sheep's foot she'll do it, she'll do it. For a ram's horn she'll do it till morn, and merrily turn to and do it and do it. Love's her delight and kissing's her treasure. She'll stick at nae price if you give her good measure. As long as a sheep's foot, large as a goose egg, that is the measure of Muirland Meg. And for a sheep's foot she'll do it, she'll do it. For a sheep's foot she'll do it, she'll do it. For a ram's horn she'll do it till morn, and merrily turn to and do it and do it.
I don't have. The feelings I don't have. The feelings I don't have, I don't have. The feelings I don't have, I won't say I have. The feelings you say you have, you don't have. The feelings you would like us both to have, we neither of us have. The feelings people ought to have, they never have. If people say they've got feelings, you may be pretty sure they haven't got them. So if you want either of us to feel anything at all, you better abandon all idea of all feelings altogether. Had I the heavens' embroidered cloths, enwrought with golden and silver light, the blue and the dim and the dark cloths of night and light and the half-light, I would spread the cloths under your feet. But I, being poor, have only my dreams. I have spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams. Long, long ago, in the woods of Gortnamona, I thought the birds were singing in the blackthorn tree. But, oh, it was my heart that was ringing, ringing, ringing with the joy that you were bringing, oh, my love, to me. Long, long ago, in the woods of Gortnamona, I thought the wind was sighing round the blackthorn tree. But, oh, it was the banshee that was crying, crying, crying. And I knew my love was dying far across the sea. Now, if you go through the woods of Gortnamona, you hear the raindrops creeping through the black thorn tree. But, oh, it is the tears that I am weeping, weeping, weeping for the loved one that is sleeping far away from me. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. I can't get no satisfaction. I can't get no satisfaction, 'cause I try, and I try, and I try. I can't get no. I can't get no. When I'm driving in my car, and that man comes on the radio, and he's telling me more and more about some useless information supposed to fire my imagination, I can't get no. Oh no. No, no. Hey! 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 That's what I say. When I'm riding round the world, and I'm doing this and I'm signing that, and I'm trying to make some bird who tells me, baby, better come back next week, 'cause you see I'm on a losing streak, I can't get no. Oh no. No, no. Hey! 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 That's what I say. I can't get no. I can't get no. I can't get no satisfaction. No satisfaction. No satisfaction. No satisfaction. No satisfaction. No. How many roads must a man walk down before they call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? How many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years can a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? How many years must some people exist before they're allowed to be free? How many times can a man turn his head, pretending he just doesn't see. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times can a man look up before he can see the sky? How many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
I turned my back while she slipped into the robe. Then turned back and handed her the drink. Both of us finished them in one draught. It added nothing to the fire that was running through me. I felt like reaching out and squeezing her to pieces. I put the glasses down on the dresser top. We were awfully close then. One of those moments. She came into my arms with a rush, burying her face in my neck. I tilted her head back and kissed her eyes. Her mouth opened for me. I kissed her. Hard. I knew I was hiding her, but she didn't pull away. She retained that kiss with her lips, her arms, and her body. She was on fire too, trying desperately to get close to me through space that wasn't there anymore. I had my arm around her shoulders and my hands fastened in her hair, crushing her to me. Never before had I felt like this, but then never before had I been in love. She took her mouth away from mine and lay in my arms, breathing heavily, her eyes closed. "Mike," she whispered, "I want you." "No," I said. Yeah, you must." "No." "But Mike, why? Why?" "No, darling, it's too beautiful to spoil. Not now. Our time will come, but it must be right." I put my arm under her and carried her from the room. If I'd stayed in that bedroom any longer, I couldn't have held on to my sanity. I kissed her again as she lay in my arms, then put her down outside the bathroom door and muzzed her hair. "Go take a shower," I said, in her ear. She smiled at me through sleepy eyes, then entered and closed the door softly. I picked up the glasses and for a brief second eyed the bed, longingly. Maybe I was a damn fool. I don't know. I went on into the living room. As I drive to the junction of lane and highway, and the drizzle bedrenches the wagonette, I look behind at the fading byway, and see on its slope, now glistening wet, distinctly yet, myself,
and a girlish form benighted in dry March weather. We climbed the road beside a chaise. We had just alighted to ease the sturdy pony's load when he signed and slowed. What we did as we climbed, and what we talked of, matters not much, nor to what it led. Something that life will not be balked of without rude reason, till hope is dead, and feeling fled. It filled but a minute. But was there ever a time of such quality, since or before, in that hill's story? To one mind, never. Though it has been climbed, foot swift, foot sore, by thousands more. And to me, though time's unflinching rigor in mindless rote has ruled from sight the substance now, one phantom figure remains on the slope, as when that night saw us. A light. I look and see it there, shrinking, shrinking. I look back at it amid the rain for the very last time, for my sand is sinking, and I shall traverse old love's domain never again. Victor, while he came, his father took him on his knee and said, "Don't dishonor the family name." Victor looked up at his father, looked up with big round eyes. His father said, "Victor, my only son, don't you ever, ever tell lies." Victor and his father went riding out in a little dog cart. His father took a Bible from his pocket and read, "Blessed are the pure in heart." It was a frosty December. It wasn't the season for fruits. His father fell dead of heart disease while lacing up his boots. It was a frosty December when into his grave he sank. His uncle found Victor a post as cashier in the Midland Counties Bank. It was a frosty December. Victor was only 18, but his figures were neat and his margins straight and his cuffs were always clean. He took a room at the Peveril, a respectable boarding house, and time watched Victor day after day, as a cat will watch a mouse. The clerks slapped Victor on the shoulder. "Have you ever had a woman?" they said. "Come downtown with us on Saturday night." Victor smiled and shook his head. The manager sat in his office, smoked a Corona cigar, said, "Victor's a decent fellow, but he's too mousy to go far." Victor went up to his bedroom, set the alarm bell, climbed into bed, took his Bible, and read of what happened to Jezebel. It was the 1st of April. Anna to the Peveril came. Her eyes, her lips, her breasts, her hips, and her smile set men aflame. She looked as pure as a schoolgirl on her first communion day, but her kisses were like best champagne when she gave herself away. It was the 2nd of April. She was wearing a coat of fur. Victor met her upon the stairs, and he fell in love with her. The first time he made his proposal, she laughed, said, "I'll never wed." The second time there was a pause. Then she smiled and shook her head. Anna looked into her mirror, pouted and gave a frown, said, "Victor's as dull as a wet afternoon, but I've got to settle down." The third time he made his proposal as they walked by the reservoir. She gave him a kiss like a blow on the head, said, "You are my heart's desire." They were married early in August. She said, "Kiss me, you funny boy." Victor took her in his arms and said, "Oh, my Helen of Troy." It was the middle of September. Victor came to the office one day. He was wearing a flower in his buttonhole. He was late, but he was gay. The clerks were talking of Anna. The door was just ajar. One said, "Poor old Victor. But where ignorance is bliss," etc. Victor stood still as a statue. The door was just ajar. One said, "God, what fun I had with her in that baby Austin car." Victor walked out into the high street. He walked to the edge of the town. He came to the allotments and the rubbish heaps, and his tears came tumbling down. Victor looked up at the sunset, and he stood there all alone, cried, "Are you in heaven, Father?" But the sky said, "Address not known." Victor looked up at the mountains all covered with snow, cried, "Are you pleased with me, Father?" And the answer came back, "No." Victor came to the forest, cried, "Father, will she ever be true?" And the oaks and the beeches shook their head, and they answered, "Not to you." Victor came to the meadow where the wind went sweeping by, cried, "Oh, Father, I love her so!" But the wind said, "She must die." Victor came to the river running so deep and so still, crying, "Oh, Father, what shall I do?" And the river answered, "Kill." Anna was sitting at table, drawing cards from a pack. Anna was sitting at table, waiting for her husband to come back. It wasn't the Jack of Diamonds, nor the Joker she drew at first. It wasn't the King, nor the Queen of Hearts, but the Ace of Spades, reversed. Victor stood in the doorway. He didn't utter a word. She said, "What's the matter, darling?" He behaved as if he hadn't heard. There was a voice in his left ear. There was a voice in his right. There was a voice at the base of his skull saying, "She must die tonight." Victor picked up a carving knife. His features were set and drawn. Said, "Anna, it were better for you if you had not been born." Anna jumped up from the table. Anna started to scream. But Victor came slowly after her like horror in a dream. She dodged behind the sofa. She tore down a curtain rod. But Victor came slowly after her, said, "Prepare to meet thy God." She managed to wrench the door open. She ran, and she didn't stop. But Victor followed her up the stairs and caught her at the top. He stood there over the body. He stood there holding the knife, while the blood ran down the stairs and sang, "I'm the resurrection and the life." They tapped Victor on the shoulder. They took him away in a van. He sat quiet as a lump of moss, saying, "I'm the Son of Man." Victor sat in a corner, making a woman of clay, saying, "I am Alpha and Omega. I shall come to judge the earth one day." Sir Walter Raleigh, being invited to some great persons where his son was to go along with him, he said to his son, "Thou art invited to go along with me to dinner tonight, but thou art such a quarrelsome, grunting beast. I'm ashamed to have such a bear in my company." Young Mr. Walter humbled himself to his father and promised he would behave himself mighty mannerly. So away they went. Young Mr. Walter was very demure, and sat next to his father, until half dinner time, whereupon he said, "I this morning went to a whore. I was very eager of her, kissed her, and embraced her, and went to enjoy her. But she thrust me from her, and vowed I should not. For, said she, your father lay with me but an hour before." Sir Walter, being strangely surprised, and put out of countenance at so great a table, gives his son a damned blow over his face. Young Mr. Walter, rude as he was, would not strike his father, but strikes across the face of the man who sat next to him, saying as he did so, box on, 'twill come round the table to my dad anon." So, what is love about? I can only offer two definitions. One is by Robert Browning, who said, "Love, I say, is energy of life." And the other one was written nearly 2,000 years ago by a man to some friends. "Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not love, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy, and understanding all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains, and have not love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burnt, and have not love, it profits me nothing. Love suffers long, and is kind. Love envies not. Love vaunts not itself, is not puffed up, does not behave itself unseemly, seeks not her own, is not easily provoked, thinks no evil, rejoices not in iniquity, but rejoices in truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they shall fail. Where there are tongues, they shall cease. Where there is knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass, darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know, even as also I am known. In short, there are three things that last: faith, hope, love. But the greatest of these is love.